Spock.
Spock.
Okay, so what's the first thing here?
So Garner's respective crew and others.
I mean, for my part, I would say he probably ranks very high there, except for with McCoy. It seemed like McCoy had
exactly moderately high,
respect.
with the exception of McCoy. Agreed.
What do you guys think?
100% agree.
Yeah. Like aside from personal biases, you know.
Exactly.
There was
now you gotta respect him for joining Starfleet and everything like that. Like there comes a bit of respect just with that alone.
Yeah. Do you remember Galileo 7 was one that challenged him in that? Because you remember in that episode when they were down on the planet and things weren't going well, and he was trying to get people to follow the set of instructions, and people were getting more and more and more antsy throughout the whole episode, and he was starting to lose their respect. I mean, he recovered it there by the end, but he was definitely. He had to moderate what he was doing, and it's because of a weakness on the empathy front. I think that's where he was losing it because of that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a theme with Vulcans. Are we just going to go ahead and say that Vulcans are low in empathy? Because I'm not even 100% convinced on that. I feel like with their emotions, they just repress their empathy. Yeah. But do we know? I mean, look, when they mind meld, they are more empathetic than anything. So that's going to be a tough one for me personally to wrestle with. Like, are Vulcans, do they have empathy? And it seems like on the day-to-day, it's very low, but they have a potential that's very high. So that's going to be a toughie for me.
I personally like to think that the logic always trumps the empathy unless they choose. And that's what makes them the separate from the machines to their actual beings, is they can choose empathy, but logic dictates that logic is the superior choice.
Yeah, but they don't always go with the logical choice. Great examples with both Spock and T'Pol. I mean, they have led with their conscience more than a lot of Vulcans have. So I think they're good candidates for empathy. It's just they reserve it more than everyone else, you know.
They're not showing it.
Well, and they do weigh the options, but I also think that their empathy is part of that weighing of the options. I mean, they say they're lacking or suppressing the emotions, but the emotions don't disappear. I mean, they're still there.
Good point.
So I don't know.
Good point.
I think they're pretty high on the empathy.
Mm-hmm.
They can be. Though in that episode, Galileo 7, Spock wasn't great on. Like, he got to it eventually, but like in the beginning there, he could have handled things better earlier on if he had been more empathetic. But definitely, like by later Spock was much better. Like certainly by the time you're getting to the movies, he was all in.
Yeah, I think upon reevaluating, I was kind of fighting for Vulcans having the capacity to be very empathetic, but I think on the day-to-day, they're very known for being logic above empathy. So I'm going to have to go in that direction for myself, just because like they have the highest capacity, but look, they're known for logic. So that's obviously got to mean something to me. So for me, I'm going to have to say, that they're, on average, they're not empathetic. It's just kind of like saying, Janeway is an action hero. Well, she did it once or twice and she had the capacity for it, but most of the time she was not. Most of the time she was telling people what to do, and being a captain. So that's where I'm going to go personally, even though I want to give them the kudos there, but they fight it deliberately. They deliberately fight it.
Yeah. So sort of on discipline though. Whew.
10 plus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we kind of skipped discipline, right? Because I feel that's pretty odd. I think we can all just go ahead and just skate through that one.
Right? Yeah, compare like Spock and T'Pol to Kira, like woof on discipline.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Compared to Kira or Burnham, or even when Worf was first officer sometimes, and he would huff and puff. What did he say to Data one time? Finally. And then oh man. Oh, that was in Gambit 1 and 2, man. That's my dark horse for top 5 or top 10 episodes, not to get us on a tangent. But I loved that we got to see a dynamic of Data and Worf in the top 2 spots.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And that was just so, and then it was the cutest scene in the history of Star Trek when they made up in the captain's ready room when he's like, Data sets him straight. And then he says, "I'm sorry if I've ended our friendship." And Worf's like, "No, it is I that I have," or what? Oh no, I was like, oh my God, they're the cutest guys ever. Anyway.
That was really cute. And I was pretty miffed at Worf for not being nicer to Data taking charge. I mean, come on. You don't question Picard this much.
That's what he said
been
too.
Together for 7 seasons. Like, be nice.
Yeah.
So his first contact was one where he did and got in trouble. Worf questioned Picard.
Yes. What did he say? "If you were any other man, I would strike you where you stand." And that's when
Picard called him a coward.
Yeah. That's when Picard just been like, "Well, I'm not any other man, so get to it, punk."
Give me a reason.
So tactical thinking, quick problem solving, I think he rates very high on this too, right?
High on that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah.
So what about strategic thinking and pursuing big picture, which, as Muhammad explains, is kind of a nuanced difference from what we just said there. What do you guys think about strategic and pursuing the big picture?
I think Kirk did better than him on that.
Really?
Yeah. Because there were many times when Spock would be like, "Well, we should do this," and Kirk's like, "Whoa."
That's a good point.
I don't know. I think that.
I disagree.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I think that logic would help him be very strong in that area, and when he gave his life for the many,
very big picture.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, very big picture. So I think he rates high on that.
It's a good point.
That's my big one. But I also feel like that's to his detriment. Like, he would think such big picture that he forgets the small scale in the moment. And that's where Kirk came into play, because he could see the big picture, but also could focus on, okay, what do we need to do to achieve that?
Yeah, they were very yin and yang there. You guys were right. Like the more you guys talk about, the more I start going like, it just seems like one needed the other, right?
Yeah.
They just really needed each other. So, okay. But he still rates relatively high, I would say, on that.
Yeah.
From at least in what I'm thinking. What about broad knowledge base?
Yeah. He was a walking encyclopedia.
He was a walking encyclopedia.
Almost android-like.
Almost.
Yeah.
Those are some big numbers for Spock then.
Yeah.
Big numbers.